time to be able to present to you our new radios that we will be rolling out here soon for ACFR. These radios are very similar to the existing portables that we currently have. This is the latest version called the Motorola APX N70. It operates just like our old radios do in the way of turn it on, select your channel, and push to talk. However, there's a lot of new features that we're going to introduce you to today. But before we get started, I want to talk about some radio best practices that we should already be implementing. If you are on a fire apparatus and you're actively fighting fire, the best practice is to wear your radio utilizing a radio strap similar to what I'm wearing here. When you utilize a radio strap, you want to have your radio strap underneath your coat. Take your speaker mic and either bring it up over top of the neck of your coat so that only the speaker is hanging out, or thread it through the opening of the new bunker coats, the opening that is designed for these speaker mics to go through. This helps to protect the radio from the heat, as well as the weakest part, which is this cable. This cable on these new radios is rated for about 350 degrees. On the old radios, it was a lot lower. That is the weakest portion of this radio. We want to make sure that we protect that to the best of our abilities. Once you have the speaker outside, you can button your coat up and protect the remainder of the radio. Make sure that you're on your proper tack channel, and that will allow you to operate in firefighting conditions. If you're on a rescue or a non-fire incident where you're not wearing your bunker coat, you can utilize one of these radio holsters that the radios will come with. This works very well if you don't have a leather radio strap or any other type of mount. These radio clips are robust and they help protect the new smart screen that is on the back of these radios. So whenever you are utilizing these radios, please make sure they're in either a radio holster, whether it be the plastic type or a radio strap like this. Do not ever put your radio in your back pocket. If you put it in your back pocket without the clip on it and you sit down on this radio, it has the potential of damaging the radio. That's been in our protocol even with the older style. So please make sure that you are not putting them into your back pocket. Additionally, also in our protocol currently is your speaker mic must remain connected to your radio. These new speaker mics are specifically fire-rated speaker mics. Not only do they have the cords that are rated for a higher temperature, but they also have a bunch of additional features that we'll talk about later on in this presentation. Okay, so here we have the new Motorola APX N70 portable radio. This radio is very similar to the ones that we currently utilize.
This is cellular enabled, therefore certain channels will operate when you are outside of the coverage area of the ACFR radio system. In the event that you get outside of the coverage area, only channels 1 through 6 and the hospital destination channels, being Shands UF, North Florida, and the VA Medical Center currently, are able to automatically switch over to LTE. You can be anywhere in the world, really, that has a cell phone coverage and be able to talk on those specific channels. The remainder of the channels are not able to utilize LTE.
As with your typical radio, you have your volume knob, which turns the radio on and off. You have your channel selector on top, as well as your zone selector, the ABC switch. We do have the concentric switch right here, and this turns on and off your keypad lock. Our ECB button is a little bit larger on this radio, and we have your standard buttons on the side here. So let's talk about the features of this radio. These radios are specifically designed for firefighting, therefore it has oversized knobs that are able to be operated in a gloved hand. We also have a couple additional buttons that we utilize on this radio. The purple button up here is called the Barney button. We do not utilize this within ACFR. Our push to talk button on the side of the radio is your typical push to talk, let off to listen. This button right here will toggle your scan on and off. This is the one dot button. If you press it, it will turn your scan off. Press it again and turns it back on. The button right below it is the 2-dot button. When you press it, it toggles the screen backlight. On the back of the radio, we have the smart screen. The smart screen can be activated by pressing this button right here. It will give you a whole lot of different options, which we'll go over here momentarily. We also have some soft keys on the bottom, and we'll discuss those at a later time. The speaker mic itself is a fire-rated speaker mic. This is again designed for use in a gloved hand. On the mic itself, we have the ECB button that is oversized for ease of use during firefighting operations. It does have a rim around the top to be able to protect it from accidental activations. However, it is still easy to press using a gloved finger. On the side, an upgraded feature that we have is our volume knob. You can actually turn your volume up and down by pressing up and down on this switch. On the side, we have our push to talk button again. It is protected from accidental operation on the side by these two bumps. However, it can easily be depressed utilizing your hand, even when in gloves. We also have a one-dot button on the side of the speaker mic that again will toggle your scan on and off remotely. Another button that we have on the front of the speaker mic is this white button here. If you press and hold this button, it will actually turn on a little flashlight for you. It's only good for reading close up or for letting other people see you in a structure fire. It will not project a large amount of light in front of you, but it will allow other people to see you without blinding them ahead of you with a big, huge helmet light or a big flashlight on your coat. But that's a neat feature as well. Turn it on and off just by holding it for about a second or two. Both of the speakers on the front of them have a 3-dot button. This is called the Vicki button. We're going to talk about how we utilize Vicki here in just a few minutes. So let's start talking about the smart screen. I'm going to go back to my home smart screen. The very first line on the smart screen at the very top shows your radio's alias. Your alias should say ACFR dot, your seat position on your unit, dot P or PN. When you first get your radio at the beginning of the day, make sure that you have your appropriate radio for your seat riding position. If you are on engine 25 and operating as the lieutenant, it should say ACFR.E25LT. Make sure that you have your proper radio for accountability purposes. The second section right here lists what channel you are currently operating on. For example, we are currently on Zone A, Channel 1 Incident Alert. If it's scanning, it will change to yellow on the side and show you the channel that you're currently scanning. I'm going to turn scan off for the ease of doing this presentation. In this section here, if we wanted to change our channel, we could do so on this front screen by simply tapping on the channel, and it will give you a list of all the channels that are available under the current zone, which is Zone A. If I wanted to go to Channel 5, I could just hit Fire 5, and we're now on Fire 5. Notice that this does not correlate with where the knob is set on the top of the radio. So it's always going to be the last touched location that is the most accurate. So this is going to be the most accurate location of what channel you are on. If you change the channel using the top knob, notice that it goes to wherever the top knob is currently selected. If you want to change zones, you can do the same thing. Right here, you're going to go to your current zone, and you're going to choose which zone you want to go to. For example, I just went to the hospital zone, and we're going to go to the VA. So I'm now on Channel 3, which is the VA Medical Center. If I hit the home button, which is this little house over here, it takes me back to Alpha 1 automatically. Another way that we can change the channels is down here in this next box. We have zone and channel. If we click zone, it allows me to select the zone specifically, and I can go straight to the hospital zone and then choose my channel there. Or I can choose channel, which will only allow me to change the channel within the zone that I'm currently selected. Under the More option, there's a bunch of different settings that are able to be manipulated through here. Most of our field people won't have a use for these settings. As we continue down on the screen, you will see the GPS section. The GPS section actually shows the street address that you are currently located at. If you tap on that, it will show a list of all radios that are currently operating near you. Right now, I believe I've got the only radio that's active on the system today, so it's not going to show any other radios down here. But if you had, for example, your entire engine company with you as a lieutenant, this would show your location as well as all of your other radios or anybody else that is operating around you. The most important feature, if you hit map, it will actually zoom in and show you a map of your radio. You can use the zoom in, zoom out function to be able to see where you are in relation to other firefighters near you, and it will operate countywide if you zoom out far enough. Likewise, if you're in the list and you find a unit that you want to identify where they're at, you can scroll down, tap on that unit, and it will show that unit on the same map. On the very bottom, we have a couple other options. The day-night mode toggles between the white screen and the dark screen. This works really well for the nighttime operations where you don't want it to be too bright, or the daytime operations where you're having a hard time seeing due to glare. The brightness button will allow you to manually adjust your brightness, or you can leave it in auto brightness where the radio will automatically brighten and dim based on ambient light. Under the settings function, there's a whole lot of different options in here. All of the Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and location services should always be left in the on position. These radios are Bluetooth enabled. However, we do not currently have any Bluetooth devices purchased for use with these radios. You'll notice here where it shows my device battery, and it shows you the percentage of battery power remaining on this device. It will also show up on the top right-hand corner of your screen when you're in the main menu. As you come down to the very bottom, you'll see About Device. If you tap on the About Device section and go to Radio Information, this will tell you everything about your radio, including which version of the code plug and your serial number of your radio. The very bottom one here in the About Device is called the Control Map. When you tap on it, this is a menu that tells you what all of these different buttons do, both on the radio as well as on the speaker mic. For example, the upper side button is call response. That is the Barney button, the purple button up here that we don't use. The middle side button is for scan. The bottom side button is for light flip. The orange button is for emergency. The rotary is for changing your channel. The ABC switch is for switching your zones from Zone A, Zone B, and Zone C. And then the speaker grill button is your Vicki button. These soft keys on the front, P1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, will do different things. These are currently set up where P1 and P2 will toggle your zone up and down. P3 is for Bluetooth, which you're not going to be using. P4 and P5 are channel up and down, and P6 is another Bluetooth option. So let's talk about Vicki for a few moments. The Vicki option is a way that we can change channels and change zones very, very quickly, especially if you are in the back of a rescue en route to a hospital, you need to give a radio report. Instead of taking the radio out of your holster and going through the menus or trying to physically change the channel on the front, you can utilize Vicki to change your channel. The beauty of this system is it takes one finger to press the button. You have to say a specific phrase and the radio will automatically change to the channel that you're trying to go to. So let me demonstrate trying to change to UF Health. Channel Shands UF.
Shands UF.
So as simply as pressing the button and saying the specific phrase, I've been able to change to Shands UF radio channel. The important part is you have to say the phrase that Vicki is looking for. If I say channel UF Health, I'm going to get a failure. Channel UF Health. You'll notice the double beep, that means that it did not recognize what I said. So for changing to Shands, you're going to say channel Shands UF. Channel Shands UF.
Already on Shands UF.
If you want to go to North Florida, you're going to say North Florida. Channel North Florida.
North Florida.
The one that I really wish we had programmed a little bit differently is for the VA Medical Center. For that one, you're going to only say Channel Veterans. Channel veterans.
Veterans.
Those are our 3 main hospital channels. We do have the freestanding hospitals also programmed in here, and we will display that on the screen for you so you can actually get the vernacular that you need to properly utilize the Vicki button. You can use the Vicki button on your remote speaker mic or on the front of the radio. They both work identically. All right, so let's talk about the programming of the radios. We have made some changes to the way these radios are programmed.
Zone A. Incident alert.
So if we're in Zone A, we can see that the channels here have not changed dramatically until we get up to channels 12 and beyond. We move Unified Command and Unified Operations into channel slots 13 and 14. Those were historically in 15 and 16 of all radios. We move those because those are not channels that we utilize on a regular basis. However, they are important for you to have in the event that we have a large incident that requires Unified Command. In channel 15, we placed 8Call 90. 8Call 90 is our emergency backup channel in the event that we have a full radio system failure. It used to be in channel C4, Charlie 4. We have moved it to Alpha 15, and that is 8Call 90, our emergency backup channel. In channel slot 16, we placed Fireground Direct. Fireground Direct is the only direct channel that we have in the Alpha bank that allows you to talk from one radio directly to another radio with nothing else in between. It is best practices in the fire service to always have a direct channel available. So if you have a firefighter that's inside a structure that's not able to hit the repeater system, that they are able to still talk directly from the inside of the building out. So our best practices in the direction that should be going out to all of our incident commanders is that when you have a working fire, you should have one radio that is on your operating TAC and a second radio that is always on Fireground, and monitor that as a safety channel. The Fireground is called a guard channel. If you take your channel selector and you turn it all the way counterclockwise, you will be in Alpha 1, which is a repeated channel monitored by dispatch as well as other units. If you take your channel selector and turn it all the way clockwise, it will end at channel 16, which is a Fireground channel that should be monitored by your incident commanders as well. So if you're ever in a fire situation and you don't know what channel you're on, you have that ability, go one way or another to get to one of those 2 guard channels. In Zone Bravo, we made a very few changes here. This actually is about the same as what we've had previously. So no big changes in Zone Bravo. Zone Charlie has had a major overhaul. We used to have C-TACs in here along with some of our 8-TAC channels and 8-call channels. We have changed that. All of the C-TACs have gone away, and we are now utilizing the national interoperability frequencies that are 8-call or 8-TAC channels. Historically, those channels were manually selectable between repeater and direct mode. In this new rollout, we have separated those channels out to where now 8Call 90 is our repeated channel, 8Call 90 direct is our direct channel, so on and so forth through the entire Charlie bank. As we get down to the very bottom, channel 14 and 15 are Alachua Interop 1 and Alachua Interop 2. These are not necessarily for our use within Alachua County. This is actually for other outside agencies that utilize 800 meg that we have given Alachua Interop 1 and 2 to those entities. For example, if Marion County were to come into Alachua County for a mutual aid operation, they would go in their radios to Alachua Interop 1 and 2 and be able to operate on our radio system using their native radios. Likewise, if we go into Marion County, we can now go to the Marion zone, and we have multiple channels that they have given us. If we go down their mutual aid to assist them, we can select the proper channel in the Marion County bank of our radios and operate on their system. So that's the Marion bank. In the Delta bank, we have some more national interoperability frequencies. These are the 7-call and 7-TACs. The difference is these are 700 megahertz instead of 800 megahertz channels, but these are national interoperability frequencies as well. In the hospital bank, obviously we have all the different hospitals, and we have the main destination hospitals at the top, and then all of the freestandings. Some things that we do want to remind you is by policy, the speaker mic must be connected to the radio at all times. You should never disconnect the speaker mic from your radio. Also, we want to make sure that you always have the radio in some type of holster, whether that be a plastic holster that will come along with it, or if you put it into a radio strap, that's perfectly acceptable. Just make sure that it is in a holster. These radios should never be placed in your back pocket. If you sit down on these radios, it has the potential of bending the radio, which could potentially break the screen, as well as the internal components of the radio. All right, as we prepare for the rollout of the new radios, please look through your stations and look for any batteries, chargers, pieces, parts, speaker mics, etc., radio clips for the old radios. Get them all gathered up, put them into a box, and have them ready to be picked up when we distribute out the new radios. All of the old accessories are not compatible with these new radios, so there's no reason for you to have any of the APX 6000 accessories or parts in your station any longer. So please look in all your cabinets, drawers, lockers, trucks, etc. If you find any pieces, please get them put together and get them to your BC so we can return them back to our cache. We will be holding on to the old radios for a special event cache, so we do need all that equipment. So please get that back to us as soon as you can.